Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So, Cancer, I didn't do it on Friday because the energy wasn't conducive for it at the time, but I believe we're going to do it now. We're going to close off this theme of readings of the mask they wear. So we're going to do that for you, Cancer. Who they is, who they are, I don't know. It could be someone from your past. It will give you some insight into them about why, you might understand the relationship you had with them at that time a little bit better. It could be someone you're dealing with now, or it might not even resonate, right? So we're going to get started. I'm going to, and in all fairness to the people that we're reading outside of ourselves, because the point of this too is to realize that other people besides ourselves also have wounds and hurt and difficulty and struggles and all that sort of stuff, to see inside each other a little bit. We're going to use the temple of my body. Well, that's interesting. It hasn't come out this week yet. We're going to use the Dark Mirror Oracle deck. So in all honesty, we are looking at a little more shadowy stuff. So it's on a gradient as well. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to go into my karma cards and my tarot of the abyss. So without further ado, let's get started, Cancer. Like I said, it may or may not resonate. It's a general reading. If it does resonate and you're drawn to it, there is an extended. The link to the extended is at the top of the description within this video. So we're going to ask who they really are, the mask they hide behind, why they hide their true selves, how this affects your relationship, advice for you, and outcome if you follow the advice. So really, the last two parts of this reading, the advice for you and outcome if you follow the advice, is really the part that's most important to you. And just humanity is interesting, so let's take a look. All right, my portals of love. Who they really are, Cancer, who they really are. Who they really are, naked before the stars. So this is number 18, naked before the stars, accepting our own beauty, size, color, age, or fat. Now that's actually, so this card has come out for other readings in this series, but it's not come out in this position. And for it to come out in this position, it's actually, it's pretty healthy. So this person may have had, I'm hearing body morph issues, like maybe thinking parts of themselves weren't attractive, or were, not. Every society has differences in terms of what they find attractive in people. So, it's very subjective. So this person could have looked at themselves in ways that they didn't appreciate their body, perhaps. It is a very physical, so this person might be very physical. Accepting our own beauties. Because you would say, well, Cindy, beauty can be more than skin deep. And absolutely, really, it is a lot more than skin deep. But there's something about, like it says in this card, size, color, age, or fat. I mean, that's all very physical. So who they are, this person actually could be becoming more comfortable in their physical body, how they look. Yeah, I feel like this person is becoming, doesn't feel that deep, but maybe they're not. I don't know. The mask they hide behind. Calling the storm. Number 30. Power comes not from the inside, but from connection and integration to a greater whole. Oh. So this is the mask. I think they're a little shallow. Like, not deep. But that's okay. Everybody's got a place and a stage for everything. Because this is kind of a mask that they are deep. This person's not very deep. This little fly bugging me. He's driving around. And they drive me crazy. He's not driving around. He's flying around. Maybe a little car, a little plane. But they go up my nose if I'm not paying attention. So, who they really are. They're accepting their own physical beauty on some level here. And that the mask they hide behind, it's almost like they pretend that their power comes from inside. And that they're becoming whole. So I don't know. You know, this has a very childlike energy. I mean, it could be a child. It could be a child or a teenager or a young adult in your life. Why they hide their true selves? Forgetting oneself. Oh my goodness. What's going on here? So that's number 17. Time as an eternal present, not fleeting but locked. No progress is no regress either. Oh, okay. I feel like this person is in a bit of a spiritual block. So they're not really able to move forward spiritually. And I think what their focus is perhaps physical. So maybe they're exercising a little bit more. Maybe they're eating more healthily. But, you know, I mean, you could almost say that perhaps their process is kind of from the outside in. And, you know, maybe some people's process is more from the inside out. But this person, they're not really moving forward with why they hide their true selves with that. Time as an eternal present. So they're in the moment. They're living in the moment, which is also extremely healthy, though. But I don't feel like they're progressing spiritually. Time as an eternal present, not fleeting, but locked. No progress is no regress either. So this person might just be dealing with something that's difficult for them to wrap their mind around. It could be some sort of change that's happened in their life, and it's causing, you know, some self-doubt. But instead of looking inside, they are looking externally a little bit. And I do want to say, you know what, they're saying, I'm not going backwards. That's something. And it is. That absolutely is something. So I'm not wanting to make the same mistakes again. So just kind of stay where I am right now. And perhaps where they feel like they can have control in their life is how they eat. Hopefully they're eating healthy. So just the way that came out. Maybe, you know, keep an eye if you think that could be a risk, that the person could be developing unhealthy eating habits. Just like controlling what they eat. That's what I was almost about to say. So there's different ways that could come through. Controlling what you eat can be healthy. It could also be unhealthy. Like that could be a form of utilizing control in your life, but it could turn into like bulimia, anorexia. There's, you know, obviously I'm not saying that this person has that. I'm just saying that the way that came out, control eating, there's two ways that could be. How this affects your relationship. Envious gluttony. Oh, wow. Maybe this person is a little bit envious of maybe progress that you've been able to make. You know, Cancer, you're a very internal subject. So you are very internalized. Just like your house placement too. Seclude from the rest of the world, physical, emotional home, like even within yourself. So that just, to me, like, in your shell, like just being a crab with a shell, you have all this softness inside of you, and you have an exterior outer shell. And things that are soft are much more moldable and mutable than things that are hard and rigid. So the inside of you is probably easier for you, perhaps, to develop and change and shift and grow than maybe even the outside. Like, who knows? What is it? So 9, going to the edge of the ravine, savoring the idea of letting go all restraint. No, so I don't know how it affects your relationship. It's kind of like wanting to do something but not, and just sitting in that, and like gluttony, you know, overindulging yourself in envy. There's something going on here with the person, I feel like, struggling a little bit. But this feels like the kind of struggle where I think they have to work it out on their own, right? When it's something internal. You know, it kind of has that feeling too. Well, how do I say this? Because I don't want to come off the wrong way. Because I'm not really, I think people can do whatever they want with their body. Really, you really can. If you're not hurting other people. But I do feel like I'm even getting, so this is really weird because I'm getting both the, you know, the control with eating, perhaps like bulimia, anorexia, and then I'm getting the addiction to like plastic surgery. So constantly changing the outside of their body without really looking at what's going on inside of them. Again, like you know, people can do whatever they want to their body. And sometimes, you know, it's just, you know, I want a little lift here. I want, like, we all look at ourselves and go, I remember 20 years ago, everything was a little higher. Yeah, whatever. But, you know, but a good example of this is, what's coming to my mind is something I watched quite a few months ago. I don't have cable, so I caught it when I was at my mom's. She had satellite. And I can't, oh, it was the doctors in the, they're plastic surgeons, these two guys, and this lady came in. And she's had a lot of surgery. Like, she keeps telling herself that she lives a doll's life, that she's a doll. So right there was some psychological issues going on, because we're not dolls. Like, and it got really weird because she did in her interview even say, well, when things get hard and I don't feel good, I just tell myself I'm a doll and they don't feel. Like, right, that's really unhealthy. That is really unhealthy. And if you're taking that energy into plastic surgery, so I hope I'm kind of explaining myself here, to change your physical appearance thinking that's going to make you feel better. She had breasts that were massive. They were so big. They were huge. And she had become like deformed almost, in a sense. And at one point she described herself as being a tits on a stick. And I just thought, like, that is a really poor self-image. That's, like, it hurt to hear someone talk of themselves like that. I'm not saying your person is at that extreme, but there's something here about embracing their physical, but not looking inside. So if we're thinking about the things that we build in our lives, if we don't build it on a really good foundation, it's not healthy moving forward. And then I kind of feel like, you know, if someone feels like they've been rejected by something or someone, they might, instead of trying to look at the situation deeper and say, well, maybe we were different people now than when we met, or maybe they weren't fully self-actualized and I wasn't, or I misread. You know, it's almost as if this person's saying, you know what, if I work out, if I get a breast augmentation, or if I augmentate my body somehow, that I will be acceptable, that I will be loved, that I will be, yeah, because they're not moving forward. They're not. Oh, I really feel like there's someone that could probably use your energy, Cancer, because, you know, you guys really go deep into emotions. You're good at hiding them. And maybe because you can be good at hiding them, you can be good at identifying when people are hiding pain that's inside them. Oh, this poor woman. She had the biggest implants possible, and they were already double inflated with the liquid or whatever. And the doctor said, like, we cannot make them bigger. You have the biggest ones that they have. They were so big. They looked like giant basketballs. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know what this is. It's really, okay, advice for you. Advice for you. Oh boy, atonement, number 31. Accepting full burden of responsibility, fair and unfair without discount. Okay. So, do you have some responsibility to this person? And I'm only feeling like maybe, again, what I just said a couple of minutes ago about, you know, you understanding deep feelings. And maybe having a capacity to identify when somebody is hiding some deep feelings or some pain or some trauma, and they're not addressing it, and it's coming out in these physical ways. Is it possible? I'm just going to say it to you. Is it possible that you could have, at any point in time when you were not in a higher self, that you could have said anything to this person about their physical appearance or something? just to take there's a sense of taking responsibility here with this is your advice. Again, I feel like some of the examples I've given are on an extreme. I don't know if anyone's even dealing with that level of extreme. But part of it too is just there's something childlike about this. Because, you know, like when children are growing and their soul is trying to integrate into their body. So there's a lot of self-awareness through the physical. What I look like, what my peers look like, how I fit in with that or I don't fit in with that. And there's a little bit of that energy here. Or as opposed to then they get a little bit older into their, you know, well, everybody's different in the stages, but I would think most people kind of in their late teens, early 20s start to look a little more deeply into themselves. Where I don't feel like this person is doing that. Okay, outcome if you follow the advice. Queen of my world. Oh, number 24. I set limits to my world. Inside I am queen and outside is last. Do you see the significance in that? Could that be the outcome for this person? Because that would be great. It really would be. Because the inside is the most important part. The inside is the foundation. Actually, if the foundation is really strong and healthy within, the exterior starts to look better. Even if, you know, even without trying. And it's our perception too, the eyes that we're looking at ourselves with. The eyes that we have are embedded in our skull, so in some way they are internal. But how do we look at ourselves? I think you have the capacity to help somebody here with something they're going through emotionally. 24. Yeah, I set limits to my world. Inside I am queen and outside is last. I really want to further develop this. I mean, part of it too could be, you know, maybe you just need to focus on yourself here and not worry about this person. That would be the last thing to do. Focus on your own internal. Of course, you're the only one's going to know if you are able to take that on. Perchance to dream is at the bottom. If I sleep long enough, when I wake up, the pain will have been gone. It doesn't work that way, right? So, wow, I feel like there's someone around you who is stuck. Emotionally and psychologically somehow. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go into the karma cards. Oh, simmer down. Oh, it's too many. Simmer down. This has been the craziest retrograde, I swear. Usually it doesn't affect me that badly. I don't know what's going on with this one. Okay, who they really are. In the 12th house. Oh, shit, right? Like Neptune energy. Your faith, hidden tendencies, large institutions, or overwhelming events. I feel like this person is struggling with perhaps something that was an overwhelming event or is an overwhelming event. Who they really are. I think there's some sort of overwhelming event that's gone on or is going on for this person. And it's kind of, it's on some level meant to show them hidden tendencies. Hidden tendencies. Once we see kind of our hidden tendencies, we can decide for ourselves, are these hidden tendencies things that I feel like support me moving forward, or do they not support me moving forward? You know, you can make an active choice and just, your hidden tendencies don't have to be something that, well, you need to stop. You need to just stop your hidden tendencies. Like, no, maybe they serve you on some sort of a subconscious guidance level. So, but, and by looking at this, it kind of produces a stronger faith within themselves. That's also the feeling of this, like not having faith in yourself or not feeling strong within yourself. So just focusing on the outside shell. Okay, the mask they hide behind. They're not. They're not integrating and connecting a greater whole here for themselves. In Libra, relationships, the beauty of do it with your partners and Venus. So there's a sense, I just get with Venus too, like self-love. There's something here about self-love and beauty. The mask they hide behind. So I do not think this person is self-loving very much right now. They might look beautiful on the outside, but I think they're struggling on the inside. Why they hide their true selves? Forgetting oneself. In Aquarius. Genius to experiment with. The discoveries of resulting from the eccentricity of. This is about not moving forward. I always think of Aquarius as very progressive. I mean, think about like the planets for Aquarius too, like Saturn and Uranus. It's Saturn can be very constrictive. Well, it is a very constrictive energy. And then to kind of put Uranus in that, that's how I say it, with it. And genius to experiment resulting from eccentricity. So it kind of also is, you know, being able to look at something that you're struggling with, something that feels like is stopping you from moving forward, but finding a unique way to get beyond it. But like they're really not doing that, because the forgetting oneself is just saying, you know what, I'm not going backwards at least. I'm not moving forward. I don't feel like I'm moving forward in this. I don't feel like I'm healing, but I'm not going backwards. So whatever going backwards means. But I do feel like they're having difficulty seeing whatever restriction or overwhelming event, how that serves their greater good. How this affects your relationship. Envious gluttony. In the second house. Patiently what you want, get what you need. It's interesting. In the second house, your possessions, income, your values, self-esteem. Self-esteem, that's interesting. Money, what you own, acquire, how you feel and about how you feel and handle money. Oh yeah, movable possessions. Maybe you're doing better too. Because gluttony to me also symbolizes like a physical presence of something in our life that we overindulge in. You know, I think about like gluttony often like food, like shoving it in. But with this, like with the second house, your possessions, your income, your values, your self-esteem, like maybe you're very strong on these levels and this person is not. So they're envious of it. They're almost like swimming in it. I really gotta say, like, this is the kind of reading where I think you need to have a lot of empathy towards this person, regardless of what the situation is. And I know people come in the comments, and I want to say, you know, if you want to say something bad about someone from your past, why don't you talk to them about it? Because I don't really think it does anything good for you karmically, energetically, or even emotionally to bad talk anyone in a social media avenue. Because I know when we're looking at other people outside of ourselves, like, well, they caused me a lot of pain. They really hurt me. You know, I see you doing a lot better than them, and you don't need to reach out to them in any way. Like I said, this is for us to look at other people in our lives and understand that we all have a different process. I really feel like there's a lot of empathy needed for this person. Yes, everybody does make their own choices, but everyone also has different energies that they're working through in life, different obstacles that they've had, different ups and downs. Advice for you, the atonement. Accepting full burden of responsibility, fair and unfair without discount. Now, the other thing that's really interesting with this is the full burden of some sort of responsibility. What? Let me see what is this? Mars, energize, confront, force yourself to. might have some sort of, again, I'm cautious to tell anyone to move to someone, to move towards someone, whether that's like communication or on some level, unless you kind of feel like, you know, I do feel a little bit called to do that. Maybe I should. If you feel safe and comfortable doing it, yeah. I never, because I don't want to put that out there in a general reading and be guiding someone to go towards a narcissistic, like dangerous person. You know that. Don't do that. That's not what this is. But there is some level here of like confront, force yourself to. You might be dealing with someone who does have an eating habit. Something's not right here. There's something not right with this person, whoever is really resonating with this. Because confront, what would you do with someone that you knew was hurting themselves, even perhaps physically, with either not eating properly, augmentating their body on some level because of some sort of internal pain that's not being addressed? You might be able to one to change the energy in this somehow. I was getting, what do they call that? An intervention. That was kind of playing out in my head, and then I saw like a big no. This would not help this person. I'm getting like a group intervention. No, this is the sort of thing that you would deal with like one-on-one, quietly, in a very comfortable space where this person didn't feel threatened or overly exposed to everyone, right? This person doesn't, they're not ready to look at what's inside, so it wouldn't be good to force them to do that in front of a whole bunch of people or friends. Or outcome if you follow advice. Number 24. I set limits to my world. Inside, I am queen, and outside is last. In Gemini, information to explain. Communications about, resulting from the fluctuations of. Well, that's interesting. Again, there's perhaps some sort of communication here. I want to pull out tarot. There would be communication. Someone would be able to explain themselves. Maybe you would, maybe they would. You have the first house at the bottom. Immediately, the way you project yourself, do it on your own. All right, let's get into the tarot. I'm going to pull one tarot card for each of these. Yeah, the other thing I'm getting, who they really are too, if they think about Pisces, is like the house of self-undoing. So, like, there's definitely some sort of an ego death that's trying to happen here, but I feel like the person is, they can't do it. Who they really are. The Nine of Pentacles. I think this person has like such great potential. This person has everything they need to succeed. That's who they really are. They have everything they need to succeed. The Nine of Pentacles is the Empress in waiting, the Empress in protection. So maybe, who knows, maybe you've already reached Empress energy because there's some sort of gluttony about what you've achieved, your values, your self-esteem, your possessions. So maybe they feel a step back. Maybe they feel like it's more 3, 4, 5 steps back from you. But according to this, it's not. They're not far from being able to utilize everything that they have to create some beautiful abundance around them. This person, I feel like, has a very kind and gentle heart, the way she's holding the bird in her hand too. The mask they hide behind, calling the storm. The sun. Oh, but you see, this kind of feels like who they saw themselves as before. Because the sun has a lot to do with self-actualization. That's the mask. There's a sense of... You might even have trouble identifying who this is. Because they are masking themselves very, very well. I think the best way to identify this person, although it wouldn't be the only way, if you know that somebody has been through something difficult or is going through something difficult, and they're kind of presenting very surface level. The conversation stays surface level. But they're kind of like, yeah, they're getting themselves in shape. They're eating well. They've lost a lot of weight. You know, don't just like run up to someone and say, are you bulimic? Like, don't do that. You know what like lines that we have with each other, right? Like questions to ask and not ask with people. But there's definitely a heads up about this reading. Why they hide their true selves. They're not moving forward, but at least they're not going backwards. The Ace of Cups. I think they're hiding their emotions, is what I would say. They're definitely hiding their emotions. It's just this Ace of Cups as a reason that they're hiding their true selves, the way all that water is just flying out and the cup is empty. This feels like this is what they need to do. Like they need to take all those emotions out of their cup and throw them out and look at them and own them. Like scream to the universe. Whatever they have to do. It's almost like producing a wave within oneself. Just thinking of what the action of a wave does. I mean, it would do so many things, but what I'm seeing in my mind is that how it changes the sand, the ground within the body of water that it's in, whether it's an ocean or a lake or a stream or a pond. Like it causes movement. It causes movement in things that could otherwise not move on their own. Like the sand, small rocks, twigs, leaves, all sorts of stuff. The wave needs to come out to cause movement in things that would otherwise not move. So unless this person has some sort of emotional, either explosion, emotional opening up, things are not going to move that would otherwise be immovable. How this affects your relationship? The Ace of Wands. Well, I think on some level you're very inspiring here. Now, this Ace of Wands is curious because she's got a phoenix rising from her hands. I hope that somehow this energy will transform in a way that they could come out of envious gluttony and realize that they really do have everything that they need to be healthy, happy, successful, grounded, abundant. I feel like you are producing here. You are kind of rising above with this phoenix. And this is something too that like, I don't know if you've, I keep getting child. So for some, no, it's not all of you, right? It's just, that keeps coming into my head. So it's something that someone, I don't know if you've got a kid that you haven't talked to in a while, like you guys had an argument or... I feel like they need you to reach out. And I kind of feel like that should always be the parent's responsibility. I don't know. I could get tomatoes thrown at me for that one. But like, regardless, it's easy to say, right? My kid's pretty good. But regardless of what your child has done or what disagreements that you have with them, that's a hard one too. Because I know people who've had, like, you can have a couple of kids and they'll have one child who's like heavily into drugs and like endangering the rest of the family. So I know that that's not an easy topic to cover. Again, it's just like, I don't know who I'm talking to, so I have to cover all the bases. I really feel like you have a capacity to help someone here. Advice for you. 5 of Wands. Wow. It's like stirring up the pot and getting into the conflict. Energize, confront, force yourself to. Accepting full burden of a responsibility, fair and unfair, without discount. Right? Sorry, like in any family disagreement, any disagreement with any people that we're close to in our lives and people that we're not close to in our lives, is, you know, none of us are perfect, so we don't handle every conflictive situation in our lives perfectly. So it's just asking you to look at that. Maybe that's all this person needs. And, you know, to be quite honest, they may not even say, well, yeah, I played a part in it too, this way or that way. I don't know. This is such what a way to close this off. This series. Outcome if you follow the advice. The 9 of Swords. It's going to give you a lot to think about. It's going to give you a lot to think about. This isn't an easy situation, whatever it is. It might be difficult to think about how to communicate in certain ways here with the 9 of Swords. Gemini. Gemini is the 9 of Swords. Oh yeah, too. Gemini in the 3rd house. Siblings, local neighborhood, short journeys, communication, immediate environment, self-expression, family ties, short trips, early education. This is really interesting. Oh, the 2 of Cups and Temperance at the bottom. The Knight of Cups. The Knight of Swords is so much at the bottom. You know what is crazy? This Temperance card has 2 cups in it. I don't know what this is, but this is really, this energy right here is really, really beautiful. The 2 of Cups with Temperance. So it's almost like two beautiful energies that need time here for something. Does time heal all wounds? I'm not sure about that. If you take on the, which one was it? Was it the, no. Oh, it was this one, Perchance to Dream. That one. If I sleep long enough, when I wake up, the pain will have been gone. I don't think it works that way. Like, we have to work through things. But there is a sense with Temperance and then Knight of Cups and Knight of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. That's like really moving really quickly and strongly with your heart and with the best of intentions to nurture, to mother, to guide, to help. You guys are like a cup of warm soup on a cold, frosty day, right? That's what I have, Cancer. That was really, really interesting. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to use tarot and oracle cards. I'm going to ask 3 questions. The first question I'm going to ask is, what would they tell you if they could tell you anything? Without judgment, without consequences. So it's kind of like them opening up. And then why don't they? Why don't they tell you? Usually it has to do with consequences or judgment, but we'll get into that. And then their deepest thoughts about you and the situation. Thank you so much, my portals of love. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.